Hey everybody, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by La Marzocco, who's been creating espresso machines by hand in Florence since 1927. They are the pinnacle of what it means to be a quality-focused, innovative company. Their espresso machines are used by the best coffee bars around the world because of this dependability, that quality and innovation. That kind of thing is easily seen in machines like the KB90 espresso machine, where they invented straight-in portafilter locking technology that allows for better ergonomics. There's scales in the drip tray for accuracy of your extractions, and then there's also the auto flush feature in the group heads, keeping things clean and moving quickly. And so it's just one example of many different kinds of espresso machines that La Marzocco has that will suit your coffee bar perfectly. In order to find out more about this and talk to someone at La Marzocco, just email info@lamarzocousa.com, and then also check out their website, lamarzocousa.com. Seriously, I really have enjoyed using La Marzocco over the years of my career, and I believe you will as well. Again, check them out over at lamarzocousa.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Espressly, who is creating custom branded mobile apps for independent coffee shops that helps you give not only a convenient option for your customers to order your menu, but also creates an environment on the customer's phone that feels like your cafe. And that's really important because you're not just a dot on a map with Espressly. You have that real estate on the customer's phone. And again, it's an extension of your brand to them that is very valuable. It's a no-risk model when you use Espressly. There's no setup or development fees. You get a drive-through payment scanner, receipt and label printing capabilities, as well as all the data is stored in the app, and it integrates with some of the best payment processing systems out there. Of course, that includes Square. So I really hope that you check them out. If you're thinking about mobile apps, I think Espressly is the way to go. Get started on your app today. Go to espressly.co. That's espressly.co. Okay, everybody. Well, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something that I've been finding myself talking to my clients about a lot lately. And this is maybe a theme that a lot of my talks at Coffee Fest, if you're going to Coffee Fest, I hope you swing by one of the lectures. But I have been talking a lot about fortifying relationships and connection and communication in the midst of growth and change. And one of the things that happens a lot with cafes is we get this push to open, and as things start to level out, it feels good. We're a team, we feel some bond, and then things start to shift. Maybe we experience more success, but with more success means we have to adjust. We have to have better systems. We start to invest in maybe looking at second locations. And as things get busier, this is what you've hoped for. This is what you've wanted. Let's make this a profitable business. But, along the way, there is a sort of status quo that starts to build up in the minds of a lot of people who work for your cafe. Not ill-intentioned, just it's human nature. We're used to things being one way, and now they're changing. We're getting busier. We feel more tired at the end of the shifts. And you might have the most perfectly organized espresso bar in terms of workflow and ergonomics and all of that. The problem is, though, that because you're busy, you aren't as present, and you are focused on creating more opportunities for more business, because in your mind, and reasonably so, more business equals better. And in the mind of your staff, more business equals not as better as you might think. Now, you're invested in the business. Literally, you are all in. And you can't expect employees to be the same level of dedicated to the company as you, because they have options, and you might not have as many options readily available to you. That actually is good because it creates a motivating factor to look for innovative solutions. But we make a mistake, and I mentioned that you can't expect baristas to be as dedicated to you, to feel as though everyone else is going to have that kind of a pragmatic approach to work. In fact, part of your role is to reinforce the foundations of your business while you're building the next level, the next level. So when you start to get more business and you're not paying attention, what can easily happen is people feel abandoned. They don't see you anymore. And even the best employees get this little idea that, we're not as important anymore, and they can't see the big picture. Now, you can respond to this by saying, well, I'm going to make them see the big picture. I'm going to make them see things from my perspective. And where maybe that would be effective for a moment, it's more asking for pity than it is actually addressing the core issue. And the core issue is that as a work starts to become more emotionally draining, more physically draining, the connection and communication and care needs to be deepened. It needs to be strengthened, because now you're expecting more from the same people. They haven't changed. The work has changed, but they haven't. And so you need to input more of that relational strength into them, which feels, and I mean this in the best possible way, it may feel like a waste of time, because you could be spending that time looking for other opportunities for catering events and et cetera. And it's not like you have to sacrifice one for the other. What I would ask you to do is include both. You need to be looking out for the big picture of the business, the profitability. You need to be getting better prices on your supplies, looking after the different metrics of the business. And yes, you are responsible ultimately for that profitability aspect, right? But you then also are, as the leader, and by the way, kind of the example that people will look to for what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, and what is the culture, and what does good look like, and all of that. You also have to, as things change and get busier, you need to get deeper and strengthen those relationships. And you can do that through not abandoning one-on-ones, not abandoning your presence. You might need to plan your presence more. You might need to do more check-ins, but you also should probably start creating structure for these things, because it may have been easier for you in the beginning to do this naturally. And that is natural, as it turns out, to go into the day and essentially just build great relationships with your staff, because you're all kind of in the same room, working on the same stuff. And as things get busier and you get more distant, now you've got to re-engage. You have to re-engage. And we're so used to hearing about how baristas disengage. But I find that baristas are still doing the same stuff that they've been doing. What's changed is the owners and the managers. They become disengaged, but they feel for a legitimate reason. And whatever that reason isn't always going to be accepted, and won't, make up for the fact that you do need to create regular connection and resourcing to your team that feels like you actually are empathetically serving their needs, recognizing that, yes, the business is getting busier. Yes, this is a harder task. Here's what we're going to do. Here's me. Here's my clarity. Here's my resourcing. Again, your power is not for you. It's for the benefit of others. And so as you start to get busier and see more success, truly, I am so happy for you. And I think that is awesome to see the numbers go up and opportunities come in. But let's not forget about our teams. Let's use this as a motivator to deepen those relationships, to create structure that safeguards communication, connection, and resourcing, so that we can all get there together. So I hope that this episode has been helpful to you, and I hope that you subscribe to the show. Thank you so much for listening. And don't forget to share these episodes with your friends, with your team, with the mayor of your city. And as always, I hope that this episode has truly given you keys to the shop.